The Loot House Incident. Subaru goes to a loot cellar in the slums of Lugunica to retrieve Amelia's stolen insignia. He expects a standard fantasy negotiation or a minor skirmish. Instead, he walks into a dark room and steps in a pool of blood. The Bowel Hunter, Elsa Granhirt, is hiding in the shadows. Before Subaru can even process that there is a corpse on the floor, Elsa strikes with incredible speed. Elsa uses her signature kukri blades to slice Subaru's abdomen open. In a hauntingly slow sequence, Subaru feels a strange coldness. He reaches down and his hands come back soaked in blood. As Subaru lies dying, Amelia, calling herself Satella at the time, enters the room and is also killed by Elsa. Subaru spends his final seconds of consciousness reaching out to her, promising to save her. Round 2. Subaru has just respawned after his first death. Confused and desperate to save Amelia, who helped him earlier, he rushes back to a loot cellar in the slums. He thinks he can outsmart the situation by arriving early to negotiate for the stolen insignia. He believes he's in a high-stakes fantasy RPG where talking it out or buying the item will trigger a win condition. The atmosphere in the loot cellar shifts from a tense negotiation to a horror movie the moment Elsa enters. Elsa isn't there to talk. She is a specialist in gutting her victims. When she realizes Subaru and the others are obstacles to her goal, she moves with supernatural speed. Unlike a heroic sword fight, this is a slaughter. Elsa uses curved kukri blades to slice through the occupants of the room. Subaru is caught completely off guard. Before he can even process the movement, Elsa closes the gap and delivers a deep horizontal slash across his abdomen. Subaru falls to the floor, clutching his stomach as his intestines spill out. The scene lingers on his blurred vision, his ragged breathing, and the cold, wet sensation of his own blood pooling on the wooden floor. The Midnight Corridor. After surviving the slums, Subaru wakes up in a lavish mansion owned by a powerful mage named Roswal. He spends several days working as a butler, bonding with the twin maids Rem and Ram, and finally feeling like he's earned a happy ending. He goes to sleep thinking he has finally reached a permanent save point. In the middle of the night, Subaru wakes up feeling deathly ill. His body is failing him for no apparent reason. He's vomiting, dizzy, and can barely stand. He staggers out of his room into the silent moonlit hallway, desperately looking for help. The atmosphere is suffocatingly tense. Just as he reaches the bottom of the stairs, an unseen attacker strikes. Unlike Elsa's blades, this attack is heavy and blunt. Before Subaru can see his killer, a massive spiked flail swings from the shadows. The weapon crushes his limbs and torso. Subaru is left crawling on the floor in a pool of his own blood, gasping for air, reaching out toward a shadowy figure he can't identify before his head is essentially caved in. Suspicion in the mansion. During his second week at the Roswal mansion, Subaru is trying to figure out who killed him in the previous loop. Because he smells of the witch's scent, a byproduct of return by death, the twin maids, particularly Rem, view him as a spy for the witch's cult. In this specific loop, Subaru decides to leave the mansion to watch it from a distance, hoping to catch the killer in the act. Instead, he is hunted down in the forest. As Subaru wanders the woods, Rem attacks him with her Morning Star. The first strike takes off his leg. Subaru is forced to crawl through the dirt, screaming in agony and confusion. Rem doesn't kill him immediately. She looms over him, cold and detached, demanding to know who he's working for. Subaru, who truly has no idea why she hates him, can only beg for his life. After realizing he won't confess, Rem swings the Morning Star one last time, crushing Subaru's neck and ending his life. The breaking point. Subaru has just gone through several horrifying loops at the Roswal mansion. In one of them, Rem brutally killed him because she didn't trust him. In the next loop, he tries to avoid suspicion by keeping his distance, but things only get worse. Rem ends up infected by a mysterious curse and dies. Ram, devastated and furious, blames Subaru for her sister's death and chases him into the mountains with the intent to kill him. Beatrice saves him, but only because she's bound by a contract and she treats him coldly, without any real concern. At that moment, Subaru understands something painful. No matter how hard he tries to survive, the people he cares about keep dying. He realizes he's reached a true dead end. He's still alive, but everything around him is falling apart. Standing at the edge of a massive cliff with a grieving and vengeful Rom watching, Subaru breaks down. He confesses how much he cares about them and declares that he's going to fix everything. He understands that return by death is the only way he can save Rem. With tears in his eyes, he runs forward and throws himself off the cliff. The camera follows him as he falls toward the sharp rocks below. This time, instead of fading to black like many of his other deaths, we hear the horrifying sound of his body hitting the ground. Beast of the End. After witnessing the cult's massacre at the mansion and watching Rem die in his arms, Subaru carries her cooling body toward the mansion's entrance. He is catatonic and broken. Suddenly, the temperature drops to absolute zero, and a massive, skyscraper-sized spectral cat appears. The Beast of the End. Puck's true form. Puck is enraged because Amelia has died in this loop. According to his contract, if Amelia dies, he must destroy the world. This death is quiet but incredibly gruesome due to the physics of extreme cold. As Subaru stands there, his body begins to frost over instantly. He can't even blink as his eyelashes freeze shut. Puck looks down at Subaru with utter coldness and says, "Sleep, along with my daughter." A gust of magical frost hits Subaru and his head literally snaps off his frozen neck. The Great Rabbit. After a disastrous loop at the sanctuary where almost everyone is dead or missing, Subaru wanders out into a localized blizzard. He is physically exhausted and mentally broken, looking for any sign of life. He sees a single tiny white rabbit with a small red horn. Thinking it's harmless, he reaches out, and it immediately bites his hand off. This rabbit is known as the Great Rabbit, one of the 3 great maw beasts created by the Witch of Gluttony. It isn't one giant monster, it is a single collective consciousness split into tens of thousands of tiny, insatiable rabbits. Within seconds, thousands of rabbits erupt from the snow. They don't just bite, they burrow. The rabbits begin eating Subaru from the outside in. They crawl into his sleeves, his trousers, and most horrifically, his mouth and ears. Subaru is conscious for an agonizingly long time. He can feel them gnawing on his internal organs and muscle tissue while he is still trying to scream. He eventually dies from shock and massive blood loss, but not before the rabbits have essentially hollowed out his torso. The Clock Tower. After resetting, Subaru attempts to confront Sirius again at the park's clock tower. He tries a different approach, hoping to stop her before she can incite the crowd or kill the hostages. However, he is quickly overwhelmed by her chains. The true cause of death is tied to Sirius's authority of wrath, which links the emotions and physical sensations of everyone in her range. Sirius captures Subaru and hoists him into the air by his neck. He is left dangling, struggling to breathe as the chains burn and constrict him. As Subaru begins to feel intense terror and agony, Sirius's authority reflects those emotions back and forth between him and the terrified hostage. In a phenomenon often described as emotional resonance, the fear scales upward exponentially. Subaru doesn't just die from lack of oxygen, his heart literally stops from the sheer amplified volume of terror being ping-ponged between him and the other victim. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe for more.